Hey everybody, welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode, hold on, 3, 2, 1. Being recorded on October 8th.
Contact.
Being recorded on October 8th. It's 2014 still or something like that. I'm Ryan Shrout.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I am Josh Walrath.
And I'm Alan Malentano.
See, Josh is wearing a shirt that says Wyoming, so he doesn't forget where he lives.
Oh, yes. Wyoming.
What is the logo underneath the word Wyoming in that? Is that
It's the steamboat.
That's a steamboat?
It's from JoshTech.com.
I believe that is
The
a
name
horse.
of the horse is Steamboat.
Oh, okay.
Only was ridden once, apparently.
And then what?
Then retired. I don't know.
Turned into glue.
Went on to kill a couple other riders, and
Interesting story. Anyway, so it's been a busy week actually in
It has.
hardware, and it's not any less busy this week. I can tell you based on the amount of crap that is circulating in and out of the office. We record the show on Wednesdays, by the way. This is the only official one. If you see any other podcasts saying they're associated with PC Perspective, they're not right.
Yeah.
This is the only official PC Perspective podcast.
but there might be somebody contacting game developers about free codes from PC Perspective. They may want to listen to them.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask for their address. If it's Wyoming, come contact me first. Anyway, we record it on Wednesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific at pcper.com/live. If you want to join us when we go live, you can always subscribe to our live mailing list. That is at pcper.com/subscribe. It's a very simple URL, a very simple form. You fill it out here, give us your name and your email address. We sign you up. We send you an email whenever we do live events. That includes this podcast. That also includes any other live streams we may do. A couple weeks ago, we had both Tom Peterson from NVIDIA and Jacob Freeman from EVGA here in back-to-back days. We gave away a bunch
Did
of
those
stuff.
streams meet?
No, they never
annihilate the
crossed.
universe?
They never
They did not
crossed.
cross.
That's good.
Now, me and Tom and Jacob did go out to dinner one night. So that kind of counts maybe as crossing the streams, but it wasn't on a stream. It was just crossing of personalities, I guess we'll say. But it was fun. We gave away a lot of stuff on those streams, and we have more of that kind of thing planned soon. Maybe involving some of these, couple of these.
What's in the box?
I don't know. We'll show it later when we get towards the end of the show. It says, I think it says Aries or something in the corner there. I don't know what that is. So sign up for that mailing list if you want to know about all the good stuff coming up. Let's jump into articles and reviews. The first up is the EVGA GTX 980 water block that we got to take a look at. When Jacob was here at the office, he direct from Taiwan, the first and only GTX 980 water block built by EK. It's got some EVGA branding on it and everything. And he showed it off on the live stream for the first time. It was this little baby right here. And after the end of the live stream, we kind of said, hey, why don't you just leave that here for a couple of days? And he was like, okay, I guess. So we had it in our hands for a few days. And so what we wanted to do was put it through the test. So we have, first of all, I should point out, we have two videos on our YouTube channel. One where Alan installs the water block onto a GTX 980.
Did he use thermal paste?
I did.
He did use thermal paste correctly.
That's good.
Yeah.
Despite all the YouTube comments. It is so funny.
Too much, too little,
And it's not like every time we install a processor on a video, whether it be like an AMD 8350 or a Core i7 something, or just, like this water block on a GPU, the most commented thing is you didn't put the thermal paste on right. No matter how you do it.
Oh my
When
goodness.
Ken has done it, we've been yelled at. When I have done it, we've been yelled at. Now that Alan has done it, we've been yelled at.
Maybe
and
we need to
every
do a
idiot
video-
on YouTube has a different way that they're right.
We should do a video of putting it on several different ways.
And then testing temperatures?
And then take it back off and look at how evenly it's spread out in each case.
I think we need to
should
test
do-
temperatures.
We should do a choose your own adventure video.
Oh.
Click here if you want the thermal paste to go on in an X.
Yeah.
Click
And that
here.
results in like a nuclear warhead.
Click here
like
if you want to
mushroom
use
cloud.
peanut butter, right? And then we can progress. Now, Jeremy, you were going to say something?
I'm just going to agree with you guys. Click here for the little tiny dot in the center.
Yeah.
Click here for the exciting video of somebody spending 10 minutes with a razor blade spreading it themselves.
Yes.
I will
Business
use
cards. Old business cards.
Yep, that's what I use.
Also a good choice.
Situations you hate.
I just use business cards for people I don't like anymore. Exactly, and I spread it on that way. And it also helps you clean up so you're not leaving too much behind. But whatever, regardless, we did a video where we installed it because I thought that might be interesting, especially as these start to sell and people buy them for the first time.
Yeah, because they are going to sell them separately.
Yeah, they are going to sell the block separately from the card with the block. It's the EVGA Hydrocopper as their brand for their water cooler. And we also have a video, obviously, that looks at the setup and then the benchmarking and performance of it. So, long story short, if you look at some of these pictures here, you can get an idea of what we're seeing. It is a water block for a GPU. It is a single slot design-ish, more or less, but if you're replacing this on a card, I mean, this kind of extends beyond one socket. This is, what do we call this? The inlet-outlet block here. Cool design. It's got 6 ports on it. You can choose any one for in and any one for out.
Yep.
Right.
Comes with 4 plugs, so you can
4 plugs, so you
plug
don't
the other holes.
so fluid doesn't spew out the water block, which is important. And here it is, kind of in process of being installed. So, fairly simple setup. Like we used a. Maury sent us a Coolance EXT440 that has a pump and reservoir and like a 120 or 140 rad in it. And then he sent us a separate 360 single thickness rad with 320 millimeter fans. And we had at least 480 millimeters of radiator going through this. More than enough. I think more than...
It kept it plenty cold.
Yeah. So, here's what's interesting. Like, we've already talked about overclocking on the GTX 680 with an air cooler, and the net result is, if you look at this graph here, I'm sorry, 980. Did I say 680? I meant 980. We had also talked about 680 at some point, I'm sure. But on the 980, if you look at this graph, the top green line here is our clock speed with the water block. And the red line is our top overclock with the air cooler. And there's not really that much difference. If you look at it here, you're only talking about 100 megahertz clock speed difference. We were able to get this GTX 980, 2 different GTX 980s within a couple of megahertz of each other, up to 1,582 megahertz. Now that's fixed. Very little change with GPU boost or anything like that. That's 1,500 megahertz across the board, running games, long periods of time. That's pretty impressive. But what's maybe more impressive is if you look at this graph, this is the temperature comparison. And if you look at that green line, see how it's way lower than all these other ones. We're talking like 42 degrees Celsius. This GPU was running under load, extended periods of time, whereas everybody else was up 80, 82, 84, right?
42, huh?
42.
42. That's the answer to GPU cooling.
We figured it out.
It's always 100, though.
Yep.
So 42 degrees Celsius, and we were maxing out the amount of voltage that we could increase to the GPU through software. And basically what I did was, as soon as I saw this, I was like, okay, there's a ton more headroom in this GPU. How do I get that other voltage? And the answer is today only with hardware modding. People that are updating BIOSes and trying to hack in firmware, it is voltage regulation at hardware fixed. Okay, for the time being. I don't know when they're going to change it, but I have to imagine if EVGA is going to sell a card with this cooler attached,
and it only gives you
like
7% additional.
Yeah, like they know that NVIDIA is going to do this at some point. They have to. This happened, I think, with the GTX 680 launch. Is that right? Where voltage was hard locked, and people complained, and companies like EVGA couldn't release their classified edition of their video cards, right? Because they needed more voltage to do that. And even they couldn't get more voltage out of the cards in order to sell at higher clock speeds. So I'm very hopeful that NVIDIA will do this. I don't know when and to what extent, but we were maxed out we were adding 87 millivolts offset.
Out of what?
I don't know. It's probably like 1.2, 1.3, right?
87 milla?
Yeah.
0.08?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So we didn't have a whole lot of flexibility. I think if they let us, put a tenth of a volt, 0.2, 0.3 of a volt more into this, I think we could get this at 1,700 megahertz easy.
And how much more power did it consume?
0.2 of a volt is about all you want to do for... Yeah. Because it's running at what, 1.0?
Well, it's probably like 1.15 or something like that.
No, it's 1.05.
Yeah.
I think it's, with the offset, I think I was I think it was like 1.1 something, but
So what did the power consumption do? Like delta, like
I mean, power consumption went up maybe
from overclocked
50 to 60.
No,
watts.
from like overclocked to overclocked on water.
Nothing, like no differences.
So you're already maxed in either.
Yeah, because our voltage was already peaked.
Oh.
Right, like I peaked the voltage on air cooling and I peaked the voltage on water.
So then you
cooling.
got a little more frequency out of it just because it was running much cooler,
Correct.
and that was it. You couldn't like crank
Yep.
the voltage up anymore.
Yep. And I mean, if you look at this, like this Metro Less Light benchmark 2560 1440, you know, this is the orange line is stock and the black line is with the hydrocopper cooler in there. There's a noticeable difference in performance there.
Yeah.
And I think we could, I believe we could jump that again.
Yeah.
Maybe almost, you know, double that performance difference if we had the capability to do it. So yeah, here you can see our setup, our hodgepodge, Coolant's reservoir pump, 360 rad, and going up into our EVGA.
Is that mineral oil?
No.
No, it's Coolant's liquid.
Oh, that's too bad, because I thought Ken would be orbiting about it.
That joke will just never die, will it? It'll just
Never.
Never.
go away. I mean, it stopped being funny years ago, but
So, but why stop?
yeah, exactly.
We do it long enough, it'll be funny again.
Right, it just full circle that stuff.
Especially when we save up and send you 5 gallons.
So that's our experience with the hydrocopper water block. Other than that, it's like I actually kind of would say like don't buy this right now. I wouldn't buy this until you know that you have the capability to add more voltage to it.
I mean, you're spending more than $100 on a block.
It's going to be 130, 150
Yep.
bucks for the water
You
block.
have to have all the rest of the system, right? You have to do plumbing. You have to do all the stuff, and you're only getting like
You're going from 1480 to 1580 is
Yeah.
what my overclock
That's like
difference
what
was.
6-7% gain.
Yeah.
That is not enough gain to justify.
Yeah. So, but once NVIDIA opens up voltage, hopefully we'll get Jacob to send that water block back or send a card with the water block pre-attached,
Yeah.
and then we can go about doing that stuff again. So check out that article though; it's pretty interesting. We've got a couple of videos on it as well. Real quick, Steve posted a review of the Lenovo Y50 Touch gaming notebook. Specifications wise, very similar to what we've seen in other devices. Core i7 4700 quad-core processor, does have hyper-threading, but it has the discrete graphics here is a GTX 860M. So if you're wondering what happened to the GTX 800 series, this is why they didn't use it this time around. 8 gigs memory, 1 terabyte hard drive. Looks like it's a hybrid drive. It's got 8 gigs of flash, and that's probably Seagate drive then, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a 15-inch display, 1080p. It's actually, I think, a pretty nice looking gaming notebook. It's kind of in the
Cool vents.
mid-range performance level for what you would call a gaming notebook.
Yeah.
But I do think it looks nice. I like the brushed finish on the back here. It's looks a little bit more roughed up than maybe you're used to seeing, but I think it looks nice. The red accents are nice. You know, the USB ports and stuff look good there. It's a pretty good design actually. In terms of, it's got that Lenovo keyboard, so you're going to get some advantages there. It's probably my style. It's not quite ThinkPad, right? This is I guess it's the Y is the IdeaPad, I think, branding. Hey, look, there's Steve, everybody.
Hey, Steve.
It's a somewhat glossy screen, as you can tell from this photograph.
That's what Steve looks like with the camera in front of his face.
You notice he's never posted a picture where the camera is not directly in front of his face.
It's like Home Improvement.
I
You
swear.
know, there was a lack of IKEA in those shots.
He's our Wilson.
Wrong guy. That's Sebastian uses all the
sorry,
IKEA.
Sebastian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sebastian
Start
could be
with-
making the
don't
cover to
start
a
with
magazine.
S. Yes. Yeah, Sebastian has like fantastic pictures throughout his house or whatever.
His house has
it's pretty
feng
impressive.
shui and then some.
We got battery testing in here. It's not great. I mean, it's not awful. It's actually, you know, it's better than some of the other gaming notebooks, but it has less power than some of those gaming notebooks like the GT70. But it's lower than the GE40 or the IdeaPad Flex 14, for example. Let's take a quick look at the gaming performance here and see where it stands out. Pretty much in line with that Y500, less than the GT70. That's got a higher end GPU in it. But I mean, BioShock Infinite, almost 50 frames per second at 1080p ultra detail. Metro 2033, almost 30 frames per second at very high quality. Plenty of frames for StarCraft 2, plenty for Diablo 3. This is, again, I would consider it a mid-range gaming notebook. If you're on the lookout for a machine like that, let me double check here. I think the pricing is it's a little bit up there. It's like $1,400, $1,500, and with the release of like the GTX 980M and 970M, we'll talk about in a little bit. You may have differences of opinion on what performance you should expect for that dollar amount too. So check out that review if you are interested. That is the Lenovo Y50 Touch Gaming Notebook. A quick recap or retesting. Let's talk about a quick retest of the WD Red 6 terabytes. Why are we retesting this to begin with?
So when we tested them the first time around, they seemed to have some sort of a firmware glitch in the first batch that went out, first shipping batch, where the drive basically wouldn't behave the way you would expect with queued commands. So in other words, you stack more commands up on the drive, it's able to do command queuing. It's a hard disk, which definitely benefits from that, right? Because it's takes a relatively long time to do seeks.
Of all drives that
of everything
would have a benefit from it,
right?
Hard drives being up there.
That's actually, hard drives are the reason that came out in the first place, right? The SSDs just kind of tag along on that spec for them to see stuff coming and improve performance, right? But hard drives is definitely something you'd want to have queued performance, and they pretty much didn't. So that was an issue. And then we reached out to Western Digital and I said, "Oh, wait, yeah, something's up." And I don't know more on this in detail, but I suspect they probably pulled some shipments back and then reshipped
whatever
some
wasn't
drives.
already on shelves, maybe they probably would have returned. So
because it was pretty quick that a revised model number of the 6 terabyte Red came out, and you can tell the difference because the last character in the drive, it'll basically be YMN0 for the original drive, YMN1. You can tell the just symbol revision. Yeah. Right? And that's the updated drive.
Okay.
If you have some of the YMN0 drives and you want to update them, you have to go through Western Digital support to do it. So it's a Red. They have their 24/7 support system thing. That's supposed to be an advantage of having it.
Yeah.
So use it. That's how you get it. They're not just going to post the firmware on their website because Western Digital usually doesn't do that. Like, I don't even think they do.
So if you have any of these drives, you can't just go download the firmware update. You have to request it.
Yeah, you just have to ask for it. Like,
and we assume they'll just give it to anybody that asks for it?
I haven't heard anybody not get it that asked for it.
Okay.
A couple people emailed me saying, "Hey, I don't see it on their site," and I just directed them to,
that WD Red support area.
Yeah, use their support, and then I guess they got it. Because I never heard back. Usually you don't hear back when there's good news. So
that's true.
Okay.
So did it fix it performance-wise? Did we look at any particular data here to see that it's improved?
So we tested two different things, which is really, there was no sense in including two separate updated versions of the drive, one being the original one firmware patched, and then the other one being like just a newer drive, right? Because Western Digital did ship us newer ones as well. So the results are identical between those two. So if you have an older one and you patch it, you're going to see these results for the newer drive.
So what we're looking at is the original drive, and this graph is the one that kind of tapers off towards the wrong direction.
It's pretty much
here.
flat.
Yeah.
And then it even falls off.
Yep.
Right. And I think that fall off at the very extreme end. Now realize once you get past 32, you're really kind of pushing it for SATA anyway.
Yeah.
So I think the drive just kind of gets overwhelmed, especially since it's handling 6 terabytes with a controller that I think is the same controller that's been handling it since like 1 terabyte.
Yep.
So, it's going to kind of fall off way, way up there. But the key there is like probably between 1 and like 8, where the ramp is and how that kind of ramps up as you're looking at it, right?
Right.
So the deep red color there is the 3 terabyte red. Okay, so that's kind of the lowest.
So if let's go up here, this blue one right here, it's a little bit harder to see. So it's actually scaling up.
Are you looking at?
I'm looking at this blue one right here.
That dark blue?
This one right here?
Yeah, that's it.
This one right here? Okay.
So that's what it changed to. All right. So basically, it's performing better than a 3 terabyte red, right?
Yep.
Because that's the dark red.
Yep.
There. And it's actually performing a little bit better than a 4 terabyte red, but only at the lower Q depths. You'll notice at the beginning, like QDEP 1 through 8 or so, that light blue line is above the darker blue line.
Yep.
Right, so it's performing a little bit better, and then it just kind of has this fall off where I think the controller is kind of at its limit. Like I think they're going to have to update the controller in the next revision of these guys. But pretty much where it matters for NAS use, I mean, I really wouldn't see just any regular person's NAS or RAID going much past 8 anyway.
Gotcha.
Because really, how many simultaneous things are you going to hit that array with if it's just for bulk file storage in the first place?
Fair enough.
So the performance now is pretty much where we would expect it to have been in the first place. And that's really the long and short of the story.
Okay.
Right.
So no more issue. Like if you're buying these, almost surely you're going to get the new revision.
Yeah, unless you somehow got new old stock that happened to be like the first batch.
Yeah.
But it's something you would want to check. Just read the labels before you
But if you do
install
get it, you can just request the update and you won't have
Yeah,
any
I would just request
issues.
the update immediately before you install them. Because then you're
point.
going to have to pull them back out and potentially break a RAID. You don't know. I mean, the update is non-destructive,
that.
but
Don't do that.
yeah, you just don't know what's going to happen there. So update them before you put them in a service.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. This week, we also did some game testing. Some new games came out. One game got updated. Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor, which is a game that occurs in the Lord of the Rings universe, but is apparently timeline-wise between the end of The Hobbit and the beginning of the first movie.
The first movie, really?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, with
What about the first book? Is it
made-up
before the
ranger
first
thing
book?
that got turned into a wraith, but not kind of.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool. I don't know much about the story of Lord of the Rings, like outside the movies. I've read the books, but it's been a long time, and I don't follow the lore or anything.
Seems
really.
pretty gruesome, though.
But it is not like a Lord of the Rings game you've ever seen before. There's a lot of beheadings. You can like stick a knife in somebody's stomach and gut them out the side for like it's a lot of gruesome, brutal murders.
Well, I thought it was worse than that. I thought you could personally torture an orc throughout its entire career just to make sure that you could have all of its extra weaknesses and know what they were.
You can and then you can like torture it so that it's like on your side, and then at a certain point command it to attack the other guys. Like, I'm not a game reviewer, but listening to a bunch of stuff, I've played several hours of it. They talk about like when you are going to assault a captain orc or something like that, you can go around and like essentially take over all of the archers along the top.
Yep.
So that they're on your side, and then like right before you barge in to attack, you can signal them to start, barraging the rest of the orcs with arrows and stuff. It's a really cool looking game, and visually it's also pretty impressive. It kind of came as a surprise to me that this was even like a big release for the PC. I knew it was coming out, sort of, but not really. And it is an NVIDIA game. I don't know if it has any GameWorks stuff in it, but it has an NVIDIA splash across the front of it. So
it might have something in there.
It may. But so we went ahead and I ran the GTX 980, the 970, and the Radeon R9 290X and 290 through the benchmark. It has a pretty good integrated benchmark in it at both very high and ultra settings. There's some caveats in here about making sure you set the settings correctly that you should go.
Was this the game that the reported frame rate was kind of eh?
Yes, with AMD cards, the reported frame rate from the benchmark itself, like on the screen on the game, could vary with 20 frames per second run to run, like on average.
Okay, so something for people to know in case they want to use it.
But if you used fraps, or in our case, obviously we're using our capture stuff, the frames, the frame rates and the performance was very consistent. So something in the internal timer or counters or something that was happening in that benchmark was busted for whatever reason. But the visual experience for both AMD and NVIDIA products were good.
Yeah, just the reported frame rate,
So we tested 2560 and 4K at very high and ultra. You can see here, this is 2560 by 1440 at very high. The 290X is just a tiny bit faster than the 980, but they're essentially the same. And then the R9 290 is just a tiny bit faster than the 970 as well there. And if you look here, very consistent frame times, no frame variance issues for anybody. And then if we look at the ultra preset at that resolution, you can see that again, very similar results. 290X just a little bit faster than the 980, and the 290 a little bit faster than the 970 again there. And that same is actually kind of the same result as seen at the 4K resolution testing, except in this case, 290X is actually more faster than the 980 than in the previous resolution. And then the same is true from the 290 to the 970. So the AMD cards have a small but measurable, at least, advantage in performance here. And again, no discernible frame time issues.
Yeah, but no true audio support.
No true audio support.
Oh, can't do it.
No true audio support.
Frame times are mighty smooth there. Yeah.
They are. And at 4K, it's even more so. Like when you get into 4K Ultra, you get a couple of these hitches, but we're talking about, to be fair, the Ultra preset on this game recommends 6 gigabytes of frame buffer, which is stupid, right? Like that's
just,
it doesn't make any sense to me, but it's there if you want to try it. I will say that, for example, if you look at the frame rates here at 4K on Ultra, they kind of range anywhere between 30, 28, 30 up to 40, 45, depending on the part of the scene you're looking at. And this, we happen to have our Acer G-Sync monitor sitting there, and I decided to hook it up. And the experience, like playing on a 980 on a standard 4K monitor, and then using a G-Sync 4K monitor, makes that experience way better.
Yep.
Like it really does.
I'd really like to buy one of those monitors.
Well, you don't want the 4K one. You want the ROG Swift.
I want it to be in stock.
You want it to be in stock. I understand. And so it was interesting to me to see, like, this is kind of, it is another instance where it's like, hey, this G-Sync stuff actually works. Like it actually makes things. I don't know if I would still play 4K at Ultra. Maybe I would still try to get a little bit higher frame rates than what this was showing, really. But between 35 and 50, it really, really helped. It was kind of interesting to see it there. And it validates NVIDIA's, belief in the technology and AMD's drive to create FreeSync and put it into the market, because they would benefit in the same fashion as NVIDIA is able to benefit today. But overall, interesting performance. It's a game, if you're looking for a game that looks really good and you want to show off some of the performance of your new hardware, this is one to look at for sure. It's impressive looking, and it's actually really fun. There's a lot of murdering that occurs, apparently. Also a game where a lot of murdering occurs, Sniper Elite 3.
That sounds like a game of murdering.
But at least you get a biology lesson while you're doing it.
Has this always been the case for this series? It has, isn't it?
I think so, but I don't know, because I've never played a single one of them. I've just watched the trailers and gone, really?
So if you don't know what we're talking about, Alan, what you see here, if you look on that screen there.
Whoa.
You can see some nice anatomy and physiology that is accurate.
So what happens is
look at those flanges.
When you shoot your sniper rifle, it's you see the bullet go across and like everything slows down, and
bullet
then
time, okay.
You go bullet time, but even slower than that. And then when it approaches the enemy, you get a biological
X-ray
view of them. Yeah,
that's not even X-ray. That's just his guts.
You watch the bullet go through whatever part of the body it goes through.
And it fades through the muscle tissue.
Like
and everything.
I shot one in the neck, and you see like the throat explode and the vertebrae shoot out.
What?
It's kind of weird, and you can shoot people in the balls and stuff, and that gets pretty awkward.
The term murder porn does get tossed around a lot, but this is poster child.
So is the idea you're just like, all right, I'm gonna give this guy a vasectomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's neat, and you know what I have to say? It's like it's funny. It's not hyper realistic. It's not hyper realistic.
That looks pretty dang realistic.
It does, but when you watch it in motion, like it's cool looking, but it's
because in real life you can't actually see the jugular explode.
Correct.
I guess.
But and you hear, and it is a little bit unnerving when you hear like the sound of the bullet going through the flesh. It's like, oh, and then it hits a bone. Or it's kind of weird.
Crunches.
Oh, the Dolby guys must have had fun on that one.
But anyway, the reason we're looking at this game is it's not brand new, but they did just release a patch for Mantle support.
Oh, okay.
Last week. So it was always been an AMD game. It was part of like their bundling and stuff like that. But they did release a Mantle patch. So I wanted to run through this game as well. We did 2560 and 4K again. Ultra preset. We did the 980, 970, 290X, and 290. And here's a result, right? Here's Sniper Elite 2560 by 1440 Ultra. Here's where it's interesting, right? Also notice we didn't do any frame time captures on this. I did, but because there's Mantle involved, we have no way to
we can't
do an overlay and use our capture process and all other stuff. So these are just average frame rates.
Because
I will say that everything was smooth and there were no frame time issues, even in multi-GPU. So
what was the difference?
The 980 is faster than the 290X.
Okay.
Both these results use DirectX 11. You turn on Mantle, and it gives the 290X I'd say almost exactly an 8% boost.
Okay.
In performance. Takes it an average from 100 to 108, and just slightly above the 980.
That's enough to get over the 980.
Same thing happens with the 970 versus the 290. The 970 is a little bit faster. You turn on Mantle, and boom, you get a little advantage there, right? Similar thing at 4K. The 290X and the 980 are pretty even in DX11. You turn on Mantle, you get just a slight bit performance. We're talking like 3-4% or something like that. Nothing huge, but there's something there, right? This is validation for people that are buying these products, thinking that they're going to use Mantle for something, right?
So that 290 and 290X, their 512-bit memory bus seems to help a little bit in these situations,
especially at 4K.
4K, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely seems to be the case because, if you look at the 970 versus the 290, even DX11, the 290 is a little bit faster. And that's not usual. That in our initial review of the 970, that wasn't really the case.
Yep.
For most of the time, the 970 was faster. And you enable Mantle, and you get just a little bit more performance out of it. Now, there is a downside to Mantle, and that is seen here in multi-GPU. This game scales with multi-GPUs fantastically, even to 3 and 4 GPUs, as I'm testing over there right now.
Wow, is that like pure 100% scale?
It's like 105 to 192. That's 89% scaling, I think, or something, and then 100 to 186 for AMD.
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty good. Now, with Mantle, you don't get any crossfire scaling.
Oh.
Either at 25 or 4K. Is
it supposed to?
No. Well, no.
Mantle's not supposed to.
So with Mantle, when a game developer is using Mantle API, AMD doesn't handle crossfire anymore. It's up to the game developer to integrate support for multiple GPUs.
Oh.
Right.
So it's not even the same way anymore. It's totally different method.
Correct.
Okay.
So you would still enable it in the driver, but that's basically sending a flag to the game engine that says, hey, they want to use multiple GPUs.
The game engine still has to handle.
The game engine is totally up to it to divide up the workload, process it, merge it, output, whatever it is, right? So this, Rebellion, the game developer of this game, did not want to do that. They either didn't have time, didn't see the benefit.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't sound like it's an easy thing to do, even though they already went the step of implementing Mantle. It doesn't sound like it's just
I don't think it's super easy because if you look at Battlefield 4, the poster child for Mantle, its multi-GPU support was not there at first. Yep. And then it was first implemented and it wasn't that great, and they've improved a little bit since. But those are the guys that have the best information and experience with Mantle, and they
you got to walk before you can run.
This is true. I agree. But it's just unfortunate that there are people out there that have multiple Radeon GPUs and they're super excited to use something like Mantle because it gets them some performance advantage. Debatable how much and what it's worth. But to have a second one and then not be able to use it with Mantle, it's probably a little bit disappointing. But it's not the end of the world. Just turn back on to DirectX 11 and go about. But it does kind of indicate that Mantle it's still limited, right? I think it's still considered in beta, right, by AMD. It's never come out of beta yet.
Is it going to be a Google beta?
That'll be beta forever?
Yeah.
I hope not. But there's our Sniper Elite 3 results, and there's a skull exploding again, of course. So
explode.
Yeah, there's that.
He's even got a helmet shadow. You know what I'm saying? No?
No.
Okay.
No. NVIDIA launched GTX 980M and 970M.
I saw that.
Scott wrote up a little post for us. We're not going to talk too much about this because I have a system using GTX 980M that we're doing performance testing on. We'll talk about.
Oh, is that what you've been playing around with all day?
Yeah. We got an MSI GT72 with a 980M in there, and it's pretty damn fast.
I would imagine.
It's pretty impressive. It's
pretty impressive. What percent of a real 980 is like a 980M?
It's essentially a 970. The 980M, I think, has, well, if I look down here, actually, in Scott's story, a 980M has about the same, well, let's see, it's got slightly less.
About 3/4 the CUDA cores.
Of a 980.
Yeah.
With just a little bit lower
that's
clock
not really
speed.
bad at all, considering it's a mobile chip.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's...
I mean, is the frequency the same?
Well, the
1038
memory rate's
versus 1126.
lower.
It's not much lower.
Yeah.
Nope.
Go ahead, Josh.
No memory. Look at the memory.
Yeah.
What about it?
It's 256-bit memory bus. Oh, you mean it's running at 5 gigahertz instead of 7 gigahertz?
Correct.
Okay.
That's a big chunk of power there.
Memory savings on their memory buses are pretty dramatic there. But like sneak preview of results, 1080p, Crysis 3, very high presets, runs fine.
Like 60?
Probably not in Crysis 3.
Okay.
But like 1080p for that card,
But
or
like
that
higher than
mobile
30.
card, yeah, 1080p for that is not an issue at all. Like on pretty much any game we've looked at, Alien Isolation I was testing, Battlefield 4, Crysis 3.
So that's a laptop.
Shadow of Mordor. It's a laptop, and 1080p is obviously the native resolution of that display.
Yep.
It does work with G-Sync. I hooked up a G-Sync, not natively, not on the native screen.
Okay.
I hooked up a G-Sync monitor to it.
Yeah.
And that does work, right? So
You have to
got
switch
support
to
for
like
that.
just it or something.
Yeah.
Like just drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know when I was talking about the MSI ones, that was the one thing I couldn't find written out perfectly clear was G-Sync will work on an external monitor, but at the same time, you're not going to trim Maxwell to not be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no G-Sync on laptops yet.
There's no 4K on laptops either.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can get 25 by 14 or 1080p G-Sync.
Well, and
right
then
now.
you can upscale it. You can.
Yeah,
do
that's
the
right.
super-
You can do DSR on
Yeah.
these as well.
Oh, and that laptop's doing quad RAID 0 SSDs.
Yeah, it's got 4 SS4 M.2 SSDs running in a RAID 0.
Oh, so it's never going to boot again.
Oh, no, it works.
No, it's totally fine.
Orion hasn't touched it yet, then, eh?
Well, I know. I took it out. I took the whole module
took it out,
and
yeah.
showed everybody. Yeah. So 980, 970M, they're going to be all over the place in these gaming notebooks very soon. You have the same feature set that you had with the desktop parts, DSR support, dynamic super resolution, VXGI support whenever that gets implemented in any games, MFAA support, if that ever gets implemented in a driver, will be available on it. It does have battery boost technology, which the idea is to extend the battery life while you're playing games on a battery.
You were saying that was kind of a noticeable difference too, huh?
Well, I didn't test actual battery life, but I was checking not the discharge rate of the battery with battery boost on versus not. And you can get an idea of what the extended battery life
Can you turn
would
that
be.
on while it's plugged in? Can you? Is that possible?
No. Why?
You want to just draw less power. Like you're...
No, that's
Don't be a
dumb.
dummy, Alan.
Yeah.
What? Some people live off the grid and they're on solar power and crap like that, and they only buy laptops because of that, right? And then
Who only has solar power but buys a $2,000 gaming laptop?
they really want to
People in Arizona, and think how much they're saving on electricity.
It'll take 4 weeks to recharge this battery or this laptop, but I'll be able to game for an hour and 12 minutes after that.
Figure out how long it'll take you to download Crysis 3 on your satellite internet.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
But that seems to work pretty well. They did implement with the new GeForce Experience the ability to optimize for plugged in versus on battery, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'll show you when I actually get into performance testing next week that it actually makes a big difference. Like the experience difference is there. Like this is something I never really thought about before, but it makes total sense, right? A laptop, when it's plugged into AC power, can draw like 230, 240 watts through that power adapter. But when it's on a battery, it doesn't even have the capability to draw that much power.
Yep.
100, 110 watts,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
So the GPU can't do nearly as much.
Yeah. Just depends on the rating of the battery. It's probably just a...
Yeah, but I mean,
know.
they're all pretty much the same,
Yeah.
right? So what does a GPU do when it's on battery? Like if you leave the settings the same, you're going to choke out that performance, right? Which is exactly what happens. So the battery boost with the combination with the GFE optimization stuff actually does.
So it
work
scales
really well.
back all the settings.
It scales back settings because NVIDIA's testing and they know that, hey, the GPU will be able to render at these settings at this kind of power.
Yep.
for this frame rate, so that'll work out. It's pretty cool stuff. We'll talk about that more next week, because I do think.
So when are they going to implement Samuel Jackson AA?
It'll probably be
which is going to be called BAMF AA.
Badass MFAA. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I think that'll be next generation. What's after Maxwell? Is that Pascal?
I like the DSR stuff better than any of that.
I haven't tested that yet. I do need to test DSR on a laptop, because that's like you've got a fixed 1080p screen.
Yep.
It's 17 inches, right? 17.3 inch display.
I just think
running at 4K and downsample. I think it'll be.
I just think that DSR gives you enough of a benefit to where you just screw all the AA stuff. It's aliasing after the fact. That the end result is that you've aliased the whole scene, like everything. So
yeah, I'll try it out. We'll see. Maury posted a review of I think we got 2 Maury reviews here in a row. Yep, the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 3 and the Shadow Rock Slim.
What on earth?
These are CPU coolers, guys.
Oh. Hey, it looks like a Maury.
Throw them at your mother-in-law and kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
So this must be
the one's 1.2 kilos.
Holy moly.
Which is about 2.6 pounds.
Sure, sounds right.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah, this guy right here.
Monstrous, and we all know that Maury likes the big coolers.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot lie.
He cannot lie. And I mean, as you can see, the one, it's got a 120 mil fan and 135 mil fan on the outside. It's a little bit nicer than like the old Tunics that used to have the fans on the inside, because you can actually get at it. I've got a Tunic that I still have to disassemble on a regular occasion to pull the cat hair out of. This one, you can actually get at it. But the thing is, you'd think with a cooler that big that it would work.
Didn't work.
Unfortunately, not so much.
Look at that. Look at the size of that.
I know. Like, jump to the third class, the testing and configuration, so you can see it on an actual board.
Oh, I just scroll through those pictures. Oh, wait, here we go.
Goodness. Where's the board?
Oh.
Like, again, it's about the size of the video card, just not quite as long. But the sad thing is, like, on Ivy Bridge, the stocks were up about 42 degrees Celsius. He had difficulty overclocking it. And strangely enough, the Shadow Rock Slim with a single fan was a little bit better or about the same as the gigantic one.
It might have been missing some. Some of it
might have been missing some thermal paste.
No,
are you gonna say?
No, it might have leaked. Might have leaked its fluid.
If you know what I'm saying.
Like during shipment, because it's so heavy. No, because the fluid for the heat pipes.
Yeah, I mean, because
that seems kind of.
if you look at it, it is a heat pipe based cooler.
Fat heat pipes.
Yeah.
Leaking fluid.
Huh.
I don't know.
I mean, the
they're huge.
Dark
They're
Rock
not too
Pro
bad.
was a little bit better on Haswell than the Be Quiet Shadow Rock. Dark Rock, Shadow Rock, Dark Rock, Shadow Rock.
It's probably defective or something.
Yeah.
But then again, you also think that the Dark Rock Pro is about $90.
Mm-hmm.
The Shadow Rock is about $50. And the Shadow Rock is going to fit on a lot more systems, to be honest.
That's true. You do have quite a bit more spacing on that one. So, interesting. Check out that review if you guys are interested in more Maury. And speaking of more Maury, how about a review of the Maximus 7 Formula Z97 motherboard? Look at that motherboard. Look how awesome.
It's got armor.
Look how awesome that motherboard looks. Look at these features on this. It's got it's a Z97 board, right? So it's Haswell. You've got the capability to run water cooling over the VRMs integrated
Look
into the
at the
motherboard.
contours. It looks like it could be in an Aliens movie.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Mr.
impressive.
Geiger designed that before he died.
We've got MPCIe combo cards up top. You have, I think you got 2 Ethernet. Nope, just 1 Ethernet ports. 2 by 16 slots, so you can do 2-way. SLI or 3-way Crossfire, but not 3-way SLI. Thunderbolt header, Sonic soundstage, ROG external connector, which is for those external header units. if you want something that mounts on your 3.5-inch bay. 10 SATA 6 gigabit ports, 2 SATA Express ports, and DDR3. It's still got start and reset buttons. MemOK. It's got MemOK, so we know we're fine then. Look at that. That's awesome. I would totally. I don't ever feel like I'm going to buy that board because of the way it looks, but that looks pretty badass.
I miss the Northbridge for the differentiation we used to have with motherboards, but now that they've had to find something unique, like, say, the look,
yeah,
we're getting some kick-ass looking motherboards nowadays, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty cool stuff. Output connectivity here, you got 6 USB 3, 1 gigabit Ethernet, HDMI, DisplayPort, got your BIOS reset button, got all this stuff. I love the black and red design. It goes well with these cards and these briefcases over here. There's your SATA output connections there. It's pretty standard for ASUS's Z97 motherboards. You got your 6 regular SATA. You got your 2 SATA Express that can also double as 4 more SATA ports there. You can see with that Armor, though, that they kind of had to squeeze in their normal stuff into the corners, right? You've got your voltage monitoring. You got your Q code, start reset buttons, all kind of jammed up in there. Look at that. That looks awesome. This is with the caps on it when you're not doing the water cooling.
Yep.
I think that looks badass as well. And there it is. If you want to easily add it in your water cooling setup, I think it's probably questionable how much benefit you'll get out of it for overclocking or anything. But if you've already got the rig, you got it. All you need is 2 more barbs and some extra tubing, and you're done.
So where you notice that is if you go all water cooling and you don't really have any fans just blowing right over the motherboard anymore, right? That's where the voltage regulators and everything will start to cook, like over the course of hours. Like just everything will just start because you don't have any cooling,
any air movement.
Yeah. That's why I ended up having to cool mine because I didn't want to add a fan. I'd rather add heat sinks to the.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to look at this review, man, it goes over all the bundled software, all of the UEFI features. Don't call it BIOS. JJ gets mad. All of the UEFI features, including things like your favorites or your setup tree maps, and you can change all this. I mean, there's all kinds of crap in here. This is awesome.
JJ just wants you to call
just
it the
call
UEFI.
It firmware.
UEFI.
Just
firmware.
The UEFI.
Well, it's not a BIOS. It's a UEFI.
It's firmware. It's unified extended firmware
yeah. Look
interface.
At the title of the
firmware.
screenshot. It's the ASUS
Okay.
UEFI BIOS utility.
Oh, see, it says UEFI BIOS. Yeah.
Well, there's that. If you are looking for a high-end Z97 board, you need to check this one out. I don't even think it's stupid expensive.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's like $350.
$317 on Amazon. You can get more expensive.
That's
you can go
99 territory. Or
X99.
X99
need about
territory.
350.
Maury did want one thing to be mentioned.
Okay, what's that?
You notice how you mentioned that everything had to be squished to the sides to fit the aesthetics?
Oh, where's the BIOS battery?
Nope, it wasn't actually that in this case.
Okay.
In fact, the BIOS battery was just fine, and it's a UEFI battery. No, if you look at the M2 port,
Yep.
you'll notice that a full-size card just isn't quite happy there.
Yeah. Kind of hits the armor.
That's jacked.
Wait a minute. How do you plug in the 8-pin?
You don't then.
Yeah, you don't.
Do it.
So if you want that combo card,
Now wait a minute. I thought I thought I saw a picture of that where it did fit. Maybe it was with a different card.
Well, if it's not a full-sized one, if it's one of the trimmed down ones.
I don't know.
But you see on the top one there?
Yeah.
So if it's trimmed down, it might sneak in there.
Why-
With
why
a
did-
full-sized one, you're kind of...
Why is it sitting in a completely different position in the other picture?
Because it's socketed.
Well, it's because
Look.
the angle of the dangle is in direct proportion to the heat of the beat.
You got it.
Okay.
If you look at the second picture, it's socketed, so he couldn't fit it back in there, so he has it
Oh.
unplugged and slightly askew.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So that is the Maximus 7 formula. I think that's awesome looking. Be
Cool.
pretty good with one of these video cards over here that I keep tapping. Think about it.
Doesn't it look like it's a pistol at the top of the
Why don't
board?
you take that out and just,
Come on, Ryan, take it out.
excuse Ryan while he whips this out.
I think that motherboard would go great with this video card.
I think that video card would go great.
I think
anywhere.
that'd be slightly unproportional pricing.
That is
it's long and hard, and
that is a water block.
This is the ASUS Aries 3.
Yes,
this is number 367 of 500.
Oh, and you got the condom over the golden finger still.
Yeah. Protecting it all. This is only on loan from us, from a very generous reader of the website. So
EK water block.
And
I wish we had another one of those.
Yeah, if only we had number 475 as well.
Huh.
If only.
So expect more on that soon. Let's talk about news, guys. Dun, 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 dun.
Nudes? I'm always ready to talk about nudes.
AMD has a new CEO, Dr. Lisa Su, who this is the only picture apparently we've ever taken of her on our website, because every time she is mentioned, this is the photo that is referenced. So Rory Reid stepping down, Lisa Su taking his spot. Rory will apparently be in a, quote, advisory role till the end of 2014, which means vacation time needed to be taken.
I thought it meant he went out and bought a basketball team.
No, he's not. He doesn't. No, this is AMD. This is not Microsoft. He didn't have enough money to buy a basketball team. Josh, what do you make of this change?
Well, it was a little unexpected. We expected Rory to be in there for another year, at least 2 years, and suddenly he announces he's stepping down, Lisa's stepping up, and he's going to be in an advisory role. And if you look at how much money they made in the past couple of years, it's a nice amount for small people like you and I. I mean, you're kind of larger than me, but still, we're small people in the big scheme of things. He is not a Mr. Ballmer. He is not a Mark Cuban. So I wonder what he's off to next. But anyway, his job was not viewed as being necessarily done. He's done some things. He's helped change the culture of the company. It's not entirely finished yet. They're not as nimble and as fast as he would like them to be. New products are not exactly flowing out at a tremendous rate. But they've done some good things. I mean, they brought in Raja. They brought in Jim. They got them back into the fold. They're doing some really interesting things in GPUs and CPUs. But Rory is pulling the handles. He's taking off. And Lisa is next up. Now, she's been kind of groomed for this for a while. We've heard her often in conference calls, answering a lot of questions. She's kind of been the face of AMD at things like CES. So they've kind of been getting her out in front of the cameras, talking to a lot of people. She went from a VP of like GPUs to COO rather quickly, and now she's the CEO of the company.
I had someone. I don't think she was ever in charge of GPUs directly, but the reason I say that is because somebody brought up to me today after this news was breaking that that there had been a thought that Lisa was not particularly fond of the discrete graphics market, and that worried them.
That's odd.
I tried to find some reference to that on the world of the internet about her thinking that, but I couldn't find anything in particular.
Listening to the conference call, they didn't really mention that product segment. They were talking their custom
ARM and
integration
and
even APUs.
Yeah.
They weren't talking Radeon.
Well, if you kind of look at the way things are going, eventually all silicon will kind of go into one product. But that's going to be a few years down the line, because we've had the monitor guys finally step up and start introducing new and unique products to improve our experience of visual gaming and graphics and presentations and movies. I mean, for a long time, 1920 by 1200 was the max. 1080p was the standard, and now we're finally hearing about 1440p and 4K monitors. So the monitor guys have finally stepped up and given the GPU guys a lot more impetus to make more impressive parts. And eventually, we're going to shrink down enough that
That's what she said.
We may get thanks. We may get to a point where integrated graphics will be fine in pushing monitors that, Apple came out with the Retina monitor or the Retina screens that they said that the pixel size was small enough that your Retina couldn't distinguish, and they weren't entirely truthful in that, because the amount of pixels per square inch you have to have for your Retina to really distinguish.
Yeah.
It's still really dense. So we have a ways to go, but eventually, with the way things are going, it's all going to be integrated for the purposes that you need, unless we start going into some heavy-duty AI that requires a huge amount of serial and parallel processing that even... Go ahead.
Do you foresee any immediate or intermediate changes with this change of leadership?
I do not. I think that when Rory came on, she was one of the first hires that he did. They've worked closely together. I think that their ideas are pretty parallel to each other. She may add a few new wrinkles. She was in charge of some R&D of a small group in IBM, worked at Freescale. She has a good resume in the semiconductor industry for being a solid worker and thinker and getting results where they needed to be. So I think that she will follow a lot of the plan that Rory put out, because the stuff that he's doing is pretty logical. I mean, they're shoring up the foundation of the company. They're not losing money like they used to. They're pushing the products that they have great expertise into markets that will actually purchase them for about what they're worth. So I mean, you've got APUs with really good integrated graphics and okay CPUs, but I mean, they've got better drivers than Intel, and they've got better graphical performance in things that kind of matter to people: video, basic 3D games, and all of this in a package that is pretty inexpensive and just works well. Yeah. So I don't see a huge turn in where we're going with AMD, just because, one, they can't make huge turns. They're still a big company. They're not as nimble as they want to be, and the products that they have now are still based on the roadmap that was put in by Dirk Meyer and the gang back 5 years ago.
Yep.
So
we'll see.
2015, 2016 is where we'll start seeing some interesting changes, where we're going to have more dependence on ARM, and we'll finally get to see some new architectures from AMD in the x86 market.
Cool. Jeremy, tell me about what? No, we lost Jeremy. We lost our Jeremy.
Canadian packets.
Canadian packets. Canadians. So in other news, since Jeremy's not here, no, we do have Jeremy.
Well, I just got back. No return video, but
all right.
Apparently Shaw heard me talking crap about them.
So Jeremy, can you tell me about? Wait, just a second.
I don't know. What can I tell you about?
Let's find out. Let's find out if we can tell you about this. We're going to talk about DirectX 12 and Windows 10. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about it?
It's a thing.
Okay.
I still don't understand why I downloaded the Enterprise Edition and the first thing it said is, hey, click here to find out where to go for lunch. Because I don't think that's what my employer was looking for.
Wait, what? Really? Yeah. It did that?
It actually did. It was the very top app, and it was the tile in the start menu. It's like, and Enterprise Edition on
That's
purpose.
amazing.
The regular edition didn't do that automatically.
Oh, nice.
Did it on mine.
All right. So what is the news here? So we Windows 10 is out. Well, the tech preview is out.
Preview is.
And we're starting to play around with that stuff. But also there was news about DirectX 12 essentially.
It's shipping with Windows 10.
When Windows
want DirectX 12?
Not the preview.
Not the preview we have today, right? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, because I mean, at this point, it's technical preview. There are still some driver issues. Overall, it's actually working pretty good. But it will be coming out, and it will be coming out very likely soon. There's a lot of rumors, but early next year is not ridiculous to guess. So it's going to be interesting to see what DX12 introduces and what DX12 does to Mantle. Because Mantle adoption right now is pretty big because you can develop with it.
Yep.
DX12, well, you're not even allowed to see it, let alone develop for it. So there's not a lot of games being developed to take advantage of it. On the other hand, it should be rather interesting to see. We saw one little demo back at SIGGRAPH.
Oh, the Intel one.
It looked impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But so more or less, if you want DX12, start thinking about upgrading to Windows 10.
Do you think you will have to have Win 10 to get DX12?
Well, what did they do for Windows 8?
Yeah.
Did they make a proprietary DX for that?
Yeah, it was kind of built in.
Kind of, yeah.
11.1?
So my guess would be, yeah. Maybe they'll do it for DX8. I don't think so.
You keep saying DX8, but I think you mean Windows 8.
Or sorry, Windows 8.
Yeah.
But I think that Microsoft is really trying to make a clean break here and say, if you want the newest, greatest thing,
you know what?
just put 7 away and buy our new stuff.
I might think that, except...
Yes, DXDiag in the 10 preview says DirectX 11.
Yeah. Because of all the focus on backwards compatibility for DirectX 12, that they may bring that to 8.
They should.
Right? Think of they're targeting all current shipping hardware. Yeah, 8.1. Yeah.
But if 10 is going to be a free upgrade, which I still don't think I have confirmation on, then why wouldn't they just support 10 and not 8.1?
Yeah, if it's a free upgrade from 8.1 to 10,
I think that
would be fine. That's the rumor, yeah. But if it's not, then I would think, again, they're targeting DX12 to for all this existing hardware.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe it would make sense to target an existing operating system as well. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's got almost as much Windows or market share as Vista does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Josh, ARM or Digitimes pointed out apparently that ARM at the what is their technology conference called? Is it the ARM TechCon? That they are predicting 10 nanometer FinFET designs taping out in the fourth quarter 2015. Do you believe that?
It really depends on your definition of 10 nanometer products because anymore these are becoming almost marketing terms. If you look at the physical specs in between Intel's 14 nanometer and TSMC's 16 nanometer, they're very widely depending on the physical property. So I think the basic problem that they've had with getting below 28 nanometer is going to be lithography. They went from a single stage to double patterning, and they're talking about triple pattern lithography. And we haven't even gotten into. I mean, everybody has kind of blown their wad on EUV, and it has not given the results that they've wanted. I mean, everybody has invested in that. Intel did big time, thinking, okay, this is the best path to the future, and it's just not happening like they wanted to. I mean, we've gone into some things like immersion and double patterning, and now triple patterning, and I mean they haven't gotten to a litho technology that has been able to address what they're wanting to do. So, until you get more specs about TSMC's 10 nanometer, you kind of have to take things with a grain of salt, because it's going to be better than their 16 nanometer. But how much better is it going to be than Intel's, so-called 14 nanometer, which has features that are above 20 nanometer in it.
Right. Well, yeah.
It's becoming clear as mud.
Oh, what's a couple of nanometers between friends, man?
Exactly. And I mean, physics at that
not very much to be
small of features just gets goofy. And so they're doing the best they can. And certainly Intel has a big lead over everybody else. So if ARM and TSMC are going to produce a product at 10 nanometers, that's going to be their product at their version of 10 nanometers. But we may not see this as a product in terms of process that is comparable to even Intel's 14 nanometer. Because, bigger numbers are worse in this case, except, of course, when the smaller numbers perform worse than the bigger numbers.
Yeah, indeed.
The big thing I think is going to be the embed OS, like their whole push towards the Internet of Things. It's going to be interesting to see if they can just squeeze even a half a watt of power reduction. It's going to be worth it. At that level of power efficiency, like it really does matter, because that's the battery's going to last for 2 years or it's going to last for 2.5 years. So, I hope it does work out, especially for another company that's sort of bolting ARM processors onto theirs. Starts with an A as well.
Maybe changed leadership.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. Just
I'll tell you what.
Make it better, faster now, I guess.
Process technology is like Days of Our Lives. It's so confusing. If you jump in an episode, surgery. You're just screwed.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
Yeah.
What is probably pretty interesting to a lot of our listeners, viewers, readers, etc., is that AMD dropped some prices this weekend. When I was actually writing that Shadow of Mordor performance story, I happened to, all right, well, I need to get, what's the cheapest? Can I find 980s in stock? Yeah, okay, there's a couple rummaging around. Okay, how much is that 290X? What's the price difference now? And lo and behold, R9 290Xs are showing up for $399 now. And R9 290s are showing up for $299. So let's open up Newegg here. Live, as we tend to do it. Oh, wait. Oh, no, that's not good news. Here we go. Oh, you can get some for as low as $379 now after rebate. Oh, that's, wow, $379 before rebate, $349 after rebate for an XFX R9 290X. That is a hell of a price. $349 after rebates?
Down from?
That's, I don't know, $450.
What, $499?
$450, $470, $480. $499?
Amazon's still at $300.
$499. So if you think about it, if you take the after rebate price of $350, that's $200 less expensive than the GTX 980 now. And fairly.
And I'll tell you what, you're not going to burn up that much electricity in the next 3 years that you save.
You look at this, right? You've got $379, $379, $379, $399, $399, $409. You've got lots of parts there in that price range, right? Don't buy this power color one because it's got that crappy cooler on it. But the Gigabyte Triforce cooler, I don't know what it's called. Windforce, thank you. But it's got 3 fans. It's pretty, whatever. The XFX Double D, because, that's classy.
Is that really what it's called?
It's a double dissipation.
D. Yeah, double dissipation, baby.
Wow. And then this HIS has this, that's a loud cooler. Visually, I mean. Right? I don't know about what it is sound-wise. Plus, you can get 3 free games with these, right? You can get Alien Isolation. You can get that Star Citizen thing. You could get Sniper Elite 3 that we talked about before, right? There's some interesting angles there. Now, if we take a look at, let's see what the R9 290 has. Load that baby up, right? Yeah. 289, 299, 299, 329. So you've got a handful. You got 2 or 3 at that new price. Again, the Triforce or Windforce, whatever you want to call it.
Of course, it'd make it even funnier if you said a handful of the XFX Double D.
Yeah.
Witty.
But
witty.
The Double Ds are more expensive. Got to pay more for the handfuls.
Yeah, you usually do.
So to speak. Yeah. So what's that mean? Really, right now, if you look at the product stack, GTX 980, $549, 290X, $399, GTX 970, $329, R9 290, $299. We got this little table here that very simply lays it out for those of you who are visual learners. I think that puts the GTX 980 in a really, really tough spot again already. Excuse me while I cough here. And even at $150 price delta, that's a lot to ask for even somebody who is like an NVIDIA, like GeForce fan, right? You're going to similar levels of performance. We'll say the 980 is a little bit faster.
Yep.
Yeah, but the drivers are crap. I mean, it's been awful for years. I haven't tried it for years, but the drivers are still crap.
This is how the debate goes. Yeah, this is how fanboyisms happen.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Like, and the thing is like GTX 980s are kind of almost sold out. Not really. Like, I just was on Newegg tonight, and they had one for $549. They had
AMD's helping them out.
$579.
They're just dropping that price.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, like the mentality is like, if you're NVIDIA and you're selling out your cards all the time, do you lower your price? No, you don't. Right. So it will really
maximizing your profit.
Right. It will be. It will take people to stop buying the GTX 980 and instead buy the 290X for any price.
Well, look at how quick AMD just dumped the price down on those.
I can't believe how much they dropped that.
Like that kind of one makes you wonder why
had they lowered it to $539 or I'm sorry, $439 or $449 or something like that. I'd be like, okay, this is actually it's competitive now.
Yeah.
But to go all the way down to $399 is super aggressive.
Well, don't worry. That company's so far in the black, they don't have to worry about profit margins.
Yeah, well, I mean, why didn't they lower it a little bit more to make it more competitive before? Like before the 980s came out?
Well, they didn't know exactly what the performance would be.
And they didn't set the prices.
They were competing.
It was the Bitcoin miners.
Yeah, that's gone now.
Yeah.
Sorry, they were competing against the 780 and the 780 Ti, which were bigger chips,
$699,
more complex.
Yep.
They were more complex PCBs and power consumption for these NVIDIA, 780, 780 Ti, and their guys were making good margins on it.
Yeah.
And people had comparable, if not a little bit better performance and power consumption. And now that we've got this new paradigm of the GTX 900 series, they still have some good room to move about in terms of margin because they've got smaller dies than the old 780.
Yep.
And only slightly larger than the GTX 900 series. So they have a little bit more leeway. Yep. And plus, these products have been out for a long time.
Yeah.
A year.
The 970 at $30 more than the R9 290, I think is still a tough decision, right? Like the 970 is maybe a little bit faster again. Yeah. But it has a
way less power consumption.
Yeah, way lower.
But do we really think it's going to matter that much? NVIDIA's just going to ride the sold out momentum until they launch GK210 and then drop the prices and reimagine the stack and then right, like they've got momentum they can ride.
The last sentence, the last paragraph here on the story that I wrote says it kind of sums up like NVIDIA has proven that it is comfortable staying in this position against AMD. We're going to be more expensive, but we don't care. We still think people will prefer our product. And market share numbers have not dramatically swung in AMD's favor over the last year or 18 months that has been the case. And AMD is more than willing to make price cuts to make their product line more relevant, put it in the spotlight, make people talk about it.
Yeah.
But again, the market share between the competitors didn't change much over that time. So I'll be curious to see how these two strategies play out. I think it'll be really interesting. But if you are a fan of video cards, if you're a fan of processing performance for lower dollars, the changes AMD made are pretty awesome.
I'm a fan of video cards.
Video cards, of course. Always.
I don't know. They leak all over the place a little too much for me.
Yeah. Jeremy, you want to tell me about what the hell HP did this week?
Oh, they broke up with themselves.
Oh.
It seems like a weird move on the face of it, but honestly, I'm kind of a fan of this. So what they're doing is they're taking the PC and the much lucrative printer divisions and putting them into one division. And that's probably going to make most of their profit, especially considering they're selling bloody printers. They're taking the enterprise side of it. So the servers, the network appliances, the backup appliances, all the rest of it that a consumer barely realizes is on the radar, let alone is interested in buying, and pushing that into a separate division. So you've got two divisions of roughly the same size now, because HP has been on a big push to try and get into the server room, which it's not been doing too well with lately, but certainly has some interesting things coming. So in a way, it makes them a little bit more nimble, because for the PC and printing, boom, they can do whatever they feel like without having to wait for the enterprise guys to say, well, this sort of testing would be nice, and we're more interested that we throw a bunch of research budget into this product as opposed to the desktop side. Now, they've been separated. The enterprise side is going to grow. It's, strangely enough, getting into 3D printing. I don't see how that quite gets with the enterprise, but
the enterprise, if you want to make 3D printing a consumer thing, wouldn't you put it with the printers?
Yeah, it seems smart to me.
Or maybe they want to target consumer or enterprise 3D printing, which has a lot bigger margins.
Yeah, because that's sort of the thing is your R&D budget gets all chewed up, and the enterprise side of it, you make some bulk 3D printers, and you take that and then shift it over to the other side of HP and put out the cheaper ones and get into the toner business, because if you want to know where the money is, that's where the money is.
Liquid gold.
It is.
Solid gold in this case.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Anything interesting about this AMD mobile APU update? I have it in here, but I really didn't read it at all.
Well, it's Excavator.
It's
their next generation of bulldozer products, and this one is aimed Carrizo-L at the tablet market. So it's going to have probably GCN 2.0 or maybe even 3.0 graphics.
Ooh.
We don't know yet. But it's going to be an Excavator CPU core. It's going to be tablet again. We won't see the full version of Carrizo for desktops until 2015, probably around March or April. But we probably will see Carrizo towards the end of this year.
30% perf increase at 15 watts.
That's not terrible.
I am a big fan of the abbreviation for the core name, though. XV.
Oh.
For excavator. I like that.
Nice.
I'm okay with that.
Nice.
I like that. 4 XV cores, 2 megs total L2, 8 graphics compute units, 2 running backs. Wait, no.
And unfortunately, all of this is just
Vendor backends.
Oh, yeah, I know. ROPS. Gotcha. Running backs.
RBEs, yeah.
Two Adrian Petersons. Nope, wait, nope. Running backs that are usable. No. Full HSA. I'm not even sure what that means anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, you got to have software to make that work it's supposed to.
Yeah,
you do. All right, let's go into our last news bit here. I think we already kind of touched on this. MSI is releasing a line of updated laptops. Gaming laptops using GTX 980 and GTX 970. This is a screenshot of nothing, I guess, but it's a picture of the laptop. And then you've got your 3D Mark performance scores. Look how much faster. Look at the arrows. 27% faster than the 880M. 28% faster than the 870M. Can you update our bar?
Probably uses less power, too.
I'm sure it does. These have support for surround configurations.
Wirelessly, apparently.
Well, yeah, wirelessly, apparently. Yeah, weird. I'm not quite sure.
Wait, how many ports are on the thing?
You've got an HDMI and 2 mini DisplayPort outputs.
Oh, yep. So you could do it.
So you can do it.
It's doing the DP.
I don't know if it has the performance for it necessarily.
Yeah.
I think there are some models that will have SLI as well.
It'll do perfectly fine in Civ 2.
Civ 2? Yeah, nice. This is a nice looking one here. This is the GS70 Stealth Pro in Crimson Red. Perfect for NVIDIA-based laptops. But the one we got in is the GT72 Dominator. And I think it's rated at like $19.99, about $2,000. 4x M.2 SATA SSDs in RAID 0. Ultra high resolution 3K displays. We did not get that. Killer networking, which we'll talk about in the review.
Oh, Killer Nick.
Positive and negative. 4K HDMI output. That's right. It does support HDMI 2.0. Say again, Jeremy?
I remember when we thought they were going to be a flash in the pan.
Yes,
they are They are hanging on.
Indeed.
They really are.
No. They're bought up by Qualcomm. They will be a marketing term from here on out.
Yeah.
See
just like physics.
Yep.
They had babies.
Well, they had a baby. Ta-da!
Keep putting
this
them
is what
together.
We're looking forward to testing very soon. This is a pair of Aries 3. So this is.
Don't drop it on the Lenovo. You'll kill it.
I'm trying to. Yeah. No, the Lenovo would survive. That ASUS maybe not. I don't know. But we're looking forward to testing all 4 of those GPUs.
That is triple 8-pin power connectors.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed. No, 500.
So am I going to need to just bring in my arc welder so that we can power these things?
No, we have plenty of power supplies to arc weld. We don't need arc welders. We've got lots of power supplies. We've got 1500 watt power supply set on the shelf, ready to go. We're ready for this. This is a project we're gonna be working on here in the next week or two. We're trying to get JJ out here in studio to help us with this.
Not the JJ.
We're trying. I'm trying. Hopefully he's listening. And we can convince him that he should make an effort to come out to our studio so we can hook these up.
What's his Twitter handle that we should annoy him at?
Let me look that up real quick. I want everybody to send our good pal JJ. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, it's pretty difficult. ASUS Tech MKT JJ. ASUS Tech.
Marketing
MKT JJ stands for marketing JJ. Or you can just add me to it, and I'll forward every single one of them.
He needs a better Twitter handle.
Well, what can I say?
Could be like ASUS JJ.
He doesn't want one because of things like this.
This is probably why he just recently joined Twitter, and now he's going to totally go away from Twitter.
Very smart.
That was interesting. It was a good run while we had it.
Oh wait, no, it's not spelled out marketing. Somebody in the chat.
MKT.
Yeah, MKT.
JJ. It'll be there. It'll be there. All right, let's get into our hardware software picks of the week. Apparently, I have to put in my birthday to show everybody my pick of the week because it is a gruesome PC game. Sniper Elite 3. Last week I recommended Shadow of Mordor. This one is Sniper Simulator 3000.
Is there a mod where if we throw one of those fans we talked about earlier at a person in the game?
What fan are we talking about? Was I not here for this
that
conversation?
Cooler, cooler that wasn't that great.
Oh, the Dark Pro.
Yeah. You throw one of those, then it goes to the bullet time with the.
We could do that.
The bones crunching.
I want to see. Let's see what kind of media we have. Do we have any I bet they don't show any of the really. Oh wait, nope, I lied.
Do they?
Here's a bullet entering somebody's heart or spleen or something.
Gee, do you think
Check
they're
out
going to show
the
the
eyeball.
Look at the muscle up here.
Look at the.
I want to know if they took Frank Netter, MD's illustrations for this game because they're pretty good.
I don't. It's so weird. Like I've only played maybe an hour and a half of this game, but you definitely shoot people right in the face, like with a sniper rifle. I don't know what else to say. It's kind of fun.
Is it Elite?
It is Elite 3. And
it looks good. I mean, it's a little cartoony, but it still looks.
Yeah, no,
good.
it's visually it's a pretty good looking game. I will agree with that. So.
And where was the first place that you shot somebody in that game, Josh?
In the femur, and I got to see his testicles hanging down in his pants.
That's why you were going
so
straight
you missed
for that.
your first shot, didn't you?
Well, I still took him out because once you get hit and shatter a femur, you're immobile. You're not moving anywhere,
and likely bleeding out.
Yes.
All right. Next up on this list is Jeremy. What do you got for us? Looks like another game pick.
It was an emergency game pick, but seriously, I don't understand why no one is talking about this. Like, you've got the new Lord of the Rings game coming out, which is a sneaky, killy, third-person view game,
It's like
which I'm not a big fan of.
in Middle Earth.
But it does seem like interesting. This game, Styx Master of the Shadow, you're a goblin with a big knife. So, of course, you're sneaking around in the shadows. And it just looks more than a little amusing, and it's not like an Assassin's Creed or the other one that just came out not too long ago, Dishonored. You are a little tiny snot of a goblin, and so you can't fight anything hand to hand, but boy are you good at just screwing with people from the shadows.
Your
Honestly,
game
it looks
is
like
less
a lot of fun.
expensive than mine.
And it's 20% off right now on Steam. So
$23.99.
Plus, I assume it has a soundtrack by Ryan's favorite 70s, 80s band.
Oh yeah,
Styx.
Styx. STYX Styx. By the way,
it is Styx.
Yeah.
Come sail away.
Jeremy or Josh, you're up
Domo
next.
Origato, Mr. Roboto.
Oh, I see. This is a good pick for you, Josh. What do you got?
You know, I've got something that's affordable for all of us. Newegg has a fantastic
On Earth.
bundle that makes absolutely no sense. But you know what? If you got $19,132.90, you too could have this entire thing.
It has.
I don't understand why you would buy a storage setup like
Yeah.
this. Maybe Alan could explain.
It has,
What is-
It has 2 Revo Drive 960 gigs and 4 850 Pro 256.
No, 1 terabyte.
1 terabyte.
So you
What the
can't.
hell?
So you can't hardware raid Revos. You have to software raid them through Windows.
That's
Four $840 Pros,
$2,600.
2 Revo Drive 350s. And
So
did
they
I see
took-
an Intel?
They told
SSD?
someone at
No,
Newegg
it's a
to just
processor.
like put together an insane combo deal. They just
And you know what? They delivered.
yeah.
And not only that, what's the best part is you get a $20 off credit.
And
to
a
put
20
to put gas in your car because
Yeah.
you're not gonna have any other money
It does
left.
come with the PQ321 monitor, the 4K.
That's
MST.
a decent chunk of it.
Yeah, that's 2,500 or so. You get a 1,600-watt power supply, 4 850 Pros, 1 terabytes each, and 2 OCZ Revo Drive 960s. This makes total
And 2
sense to me,
Titan
guys.
Zs.
What's the
Total
2 Titan Zs?
sense.
Yeah.
2 Titan Zs.
2 Titan Zs.
That's inexpensive.
Titan Z graphics. Twice.
Combo discount, $307.
Yeah. It's cheap at half the price.
Oh.
My
My question is, do these guys actually, like NCIX and that, will test a system before they ship it out? Does Newegg do that? Or is this
No.
just, we're going to put the most expensive
This
crap
is
we can
just
find in a
stuff.
giant-ass case and ship it to you?
Someone
Yeah, we
scrolled
installed
the-
Windows. It's your fault. It didn't.
Somehow is it assembled?
No.
Okay.
Someone
I didn't
scrolled through the configurator and picked all the most expensive things.
I'm interested in this case. What is this case called? Inwin S frame.
Yeah,
It looks cool.
yeah.
Good
We've
God,
seen
that's
that at
ugly.
trade shows and stuff.
Have we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't have $20,000 worth of crap in it.
Well,
Is it
then
open?
was the-
Not even at the
No,
trade
it's got a
show.
Plexi on the
glass.
front.
Yeah, it's got $20 million rebate. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. Prepaid card. It's not even
no.
cash.
It expires.
Yeah.
It expires.
That's a
in
good
Send your
deal.
card for
3% off.
$20. You can buy 4 lattes
Yeah.
with that.
Hey, well, this is a great pick, Josh. I hope everybody buys one.
Exactly.
click through from our website. You
Yeah,
see
make sure you use our
And-
affiliate
oh.
code.
Yeah, you screwed up the
Yes.
affiliate link there, Josh. That must be fixed.
Yeah, you need to fix that. Although I don't think we get that much of a percentage.
We don't
from
have
If
Newegg.
one.
somebody buys one,
Wait.
even at a half of a
Doesn't
percent,
matter.
That's some lattes.
1% is what, $190?
Yeah.
All right, so
All right.
if somebody bought that combo and I only made $90 in commission, I would be very upset. Don't put my affiliate code on this, actually. Because
Actually, I don't think you can on these combo deals.
Yeah, that's fine. Alan, what do you got?
So I got a wallet.
It doesn't even really
Finally.
count as a
I
wallet.
joined the Kickstarter.
Does it
like-
have $20,000?
Well, look, I got the slim version of it. No, it doesn't have $20,000 in it. Yeah. So I got the slim version of this carbon fiber. You might be able to see the carbon. Ooh, carbon.
Yes.
Anyway,
You got the
wallet.
slim wallet.
It's a wallet. It's made out of carbon fiber. But it's these guys have a kind of cool manufacturing method. It's the same sheet of carbon fiber around the front and the back of it, and it opens and folds.
Is that unique?
Carbon fiber usually does not fold without breaking. Like when you wreck a carbon fiber car into something.
What is the
right?
benefit of having a carbon fiber wallet?
It's just really thin and it's light and
If someone's about to shoot you, you can hold it in front of your chest.
it's pretty rigid. No, it's not.
Shoot me right here.
It's it.
Have
Yeah,
a bunch of carbon fiber embedded in the wound?
yeah. That's what you
You
want.
saw the Sniper Elite 3 thing.
Yeah. So maybe they'll update the game so if they have carbon fiber wallet in
All
there.
right. The
yeah.
CF Lex hinge.
Yeah, so somehow they laminate the carbon without impregnating it with resin for only part of it, so that part flexes. It's weird.
Okay.
But it's a cool idea.
Diamond ripstop interior. Hidden storage pocket. It's not hidden. It's a pocket.
Hey, where's Alan's storage pocket?
It's hidden right here.
I don't know.
That's a hidden pocket?
That's what it says.
It's the where it's over here.
It's not a hidden pocket.
It's not really hidden.
Pocket.
Yeah.
He's got his selfie nude hidden in there.
So, I mean, if you have more than like 3 or 4 credit cards, though, you're going to want to get like the max version of that wallet or whatever I think Maury got that one.
Just get a coin.
See, this is the only part. This is the only problem I have with this wallet.
What
is this? Watch where they put that $5 bill.
Yeah, I got my $5.
What?
What's wrong with that?
Why would you not have?
Do you even wallet?
How much money? Well, I don't carry a lot of cash around anymore.
Well, you don't carry any. Apparently
not.
No, I got like $40 in there.
I need about $350.
I would use that like side interior pocket for the cash.
No, I mean, if they put metal threads through it so that it was a Faraday cage too, maybe it'd be kind of neat. But
the CF Flex,
I think that's an option.
Wallet. Let's see what the Max
there's
does.
Some kind of,
Okay. Yep. I see the wallet. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
got a lot of cash. Maybe
okay. They got
there
cash.
Look, it's got a pocket
see,
for the money.
The
it's
Max
hidden
does the
now.
cash. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but look where the credit cards go.
Amazon gift card.
no.
Who the hell
Okay,
keeps
it's
their
gotta be
Amazon
some
gift
more in
card?
the other
there?
pockets.
Cartier, the fine French boutique.
See, there you go. And that's like that one's like $60, I think. It's reasonable.
It's just a okay.
optional RFID blocking interior.
Yeah, you can. That is an option. Yeah.
See, at least that makes it semi-nifty.
And then their other option was like an iPhone 5 case wallet thing, which is kind of dated now. Whoops. But,
Estimated ship date November.
Okay, I
That's
bought
actually pretty good
$18
compared to
Walmart wallet,
Well,
and I
yeah.
covered it with
My
chicken
wallet has a
wire.
Batman logo on it now.
Yeah, chicken wire,
Yeah, that's true. Ryan's.
hot glued.
That'll work.
I don't have it with me.
Ryan's. You don't have your wallet with you?
It's on my desk.
Oh. Oh.
It's was that Tyvek? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tyvek.
Okay, well that's not really hardware or software, but I'm gonna let it
It's
slide
hardware.
this time. No, it's not. It's
Bullshit.
a wallet. It's a wallet.
hardware.
That's where you keep the credit card that you use to buy that Newegg system.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how you buy.
Because you can't keep
Josh's
cash
pick.
there. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Not $20,000 worth. That's it. That's a show. That is episode 321. We will be back next week, probably. We'll record a show, maybe. Again, pcpro.com/podcast. That's the URL where you can subscribe, find the back episodes, find all the links of the articles we discussed in today's episode. And, of course, go to pcpro.com/live on Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, or go to pcpro.com/subscribe, sign up for our mailing list, and we'll let you know when we are going to do more live things in the future. Not just our podcast, more live things, more cooler, liver things will happen. All right, are we ready? We good? Anybody else got anything else to say? Alan looks preoccupied, so we're going to go ahead and exit the show now. I'm Ryan Schrow.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
And I'm Alan Malventano.
Doesn't he look preoccupied?